So you're a big believer in the power of the mind, Mike? No, didn't think so.
Absolutely. No, I'm a big fan of positive mental control.
What does positive mental control mean? That sounds... It's another one of your wanky phrases. Let's make it practical.
It is. It is. I guess, well, let's explore it. What I don't like is people who either deliberately or negligently populate their mind with negative thoughts.
So give us an example.
Well, there's the whole rhetoric around self-talk. A lot of people, and we're talking probably negative people, a lot of people do go into a situation, whether it's a change or something new they're going to do or something they're going to attempt, and before they even try it or they've done any part of the activity, they've actually done it, their whole rhetoric, their whole mental game is around, I can't do it, it's going to hurt, it's going to be difficult, I won't succeed, I'm challenged. So their whole mental game is already predetermined before they start the activity.
So here's an example. Is this what you mean? I was
That
at
was
the
my
gym.
example.
No, it wasn't an example. I'm going to give you a real world example. I was at the gym
Wanky.
and we're doing squats. Right,
Well, I can't do squats. I hate squats.
Right? No, that wasn't that. Was not that. I had a guy beside me, strong guy, right, strong guy, and we're all lifting quite heavy weights. And he's got his bar loaded up. And the scheme we're working on is you start off 50% of your maximum lift.
Yes.
Right, and you do about 5 lifts. And then you go to 60% of your maximum lift. You maybe do 4 lifts.
Right, yeah.
Then you go up to 70%, and you continue increasing your weight, decreasing the number of squats that you do.
Right.
So this guy's beside me, and the coach says, right, we're down to just doing 2 repetitions now, so just 2 squats, and we're on a heavy weight. So I think we were probably on about 90% of our maximum, so almost at the point of the maximum you've ever done. And he's beside me, and he's done all of his other reps. And he said, I don't know, because the coach had a bit of a crack at everybody, and the coach said, don't fail. Because it was a front squat. So in a front squat, you've got the bar just sitting on the front of your shoulders there.
Yep.
You've got hold of the bar, and you do your squat. What happens when you get really heavy is you might just tilt forward, and that bar falls out of your hands,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And it falls on the floor. And these are heavy bars, there's a big bang, and everybody laughs usually. And, then they don't.
The joys.
They don't, they're very supportive. But so he's at 90% of his maximum. The coach has said, let's make sure nobody fails. So the coach has put a bit of pressure on, but in a nice way. And this guy says, I'm not sure about this. I don't think I can do this. So I turned around to him and I said, did you know that your body can do 40% more than you think? So I said, if you think you can't do it, you won't do it. But you can probably do 40% more than you believe at this point. So if you tell your mind you can do it, your body can easily cope with it. And he said to me, really?
Really?
And I said, absolutely. I said that there is research out there are statistics out there that we can, in this gym situation, we can lift 40% more. Our body is capable of 40% more than our mind often thinks, because our mind has this protective mechanism. So if you allow the mind and that little voice in your head,
Yes.
if you allow that little voice to go, you can't do it, you're not capable, you won't do it.
Yeah.
But if you allow the other, the angel and the devil, or the devil and the angel, and the angel says, come on, this is easy, you're more than capable, and you listen to that voice, you'll do it. So I explained it all to him, and he's like, well, right, well, in that case, if my body's capable of 40% more,
Yep.
I can do it.
Yep.
Off he went, lifted it beautifully, no problems, put it back down with the biggest grin on his face. But had I not spoken to him, I reckon he would have definitely failed, because he was talking himself into a fail.
So the only change was the mind, because the body, the weight, was the same. So they were unchanged. The only change there was the mind, and I guess that's my frustration. I don't tolerate it very well. So that sort of story is just another example of why I shouldn't tolerate it. When we deal with people who want to make a change and they want to, whether it is the gym or whether it is changing their world, doing something a little bit different, or improving the way they look after their wellness, and their first self-talk before they've done anything is negative. Or I'm thinking about going keto. Oh, it's going to be expensive. Oh, my family won't like it. My kids won't like it. And I want to grab them and slap them because I want to slap out that negative thought, because we know that negative thought is going to populate into either inaction. So I won't do it. I'll think about it further, and I won't just get on and bloody do it. Or it'll continue into negative action that almost preempts their failure. When they do fail, they'll validate it with, well, I knew it was going to fail because it was never going to work because blah, 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 blah.
So it's kind of like self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage. I don't believe it can work. I'll sort of half-heartedly do it. And then, as you say, when it doesn't work, I'll say, see, told you so. I knew it wouldn't work. I knew it wouldn't work for me. The biggest one I get frustrated at is when people say, I knew it wouldn't work for me. Because then they take the negative self-talk with the self-sabotage and they become a martyr.
Yes.
And they then start saying, I don't deserve it.
Yes.
I don't deserve it. I'm a martyr. Look, it didn't work for me. Might have worked for you, but you've got a charmed life and you can afford it and you've got the luxury of the way that you work and the flexibility. I don't have all of that.
Yeah.
So it couldn't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of research into people who, it's a digression, but it's something that's important. There are a small percentage of people who deliberately self-sabotage because that's how they're wired. They are wired to sabotage, whether it's a relationship or a change or anything that's going on, they sabotage it because they don't want to be successful at it, because they would prefer the martyrdom. They'd prefer that attention and the oh poor me piece than actually being successful. So they get more satisfaction out of failure and all the trimmings that come with being a failure, and people going, oh, poor you, it'll be okay, big cuddles, big hugs, than they do actually achieving something. And people going, that's awesome, well done, you actually achieved.
And I think there's two categories of people, actually. I think there's one category who self-sabotage because they don't believe they deserve.
Yes.
So they've got some deep-seated conditioning, maybe from their childhood, where they've had that environment, maybe from their parents telling them, or just believing that they didn't deserve it. So they don't deserve the nice things in life. They don't deserve to be happy. They don't deserve to lose weight. They don't deserve to get on in their career. They don't deserve to have more energy. They don't deserve to have a good relationship. They don't deserve the best job. So there's a lot of people who have that, deep-seated belief, negative belief, and it's a belief that needs to be blown up and replaced with a more positive belief. But some people have that, I don't deserve it. And then you have the other people in that category that you just talked about, where they actually enjoy being a martyr. They enjoy failure because, as you said, it actually gets them a lot of attention.
It does.
And I don't think they realise, many of them don't realise,
no.
But what they're getting is they're getting constant feedback and validation that this is a good behaviour, because they're constantly getting attention, as you said, hugs, they're getting support, they're getting friendship, they're getting all these, poor you, all the strokes,
Yes.
and they fear that if they weren't the martyr, they maybe wouldn't get that.
Yes.
And that conditioning takes time to get rid of. So those are really unhelpful behaviours, right?
Yeah, and again, I think, like we talk about, we're passionate about helping people be successful in everything they do, and I think one of the first steps is to really have that honest conversation, that honest awareness with yourself. Am I like that? Am I that person who's failed at things, but I enjoy the accolades of failing? Am I one of those people who has self-talked myself into a negative outcome, and I've blamed it on, well, I've always been fat, or I've always been unhealthy, or I've always been a shit eater. So it's almost predisposing myself, I'm almost preempting the outcome, because I've always. So it's having that real awareness of your own, it's not failures, but your own behavioural trait.
Limitations.
Really. Going into something like this, the change of lifestyle. So again, we say it often, it's playing the long game. We're not just doing a diet for 28 days. We're doing a full lifestyle change. We're looking at how can I be well for the rest of my life. So it's worth investing the time in figuring out what makes me tick at the moment, and why have I not been successful in this area previously?
So
Because I need to rewire that piece.
really good example, and a lot of what we're talking about isn't about the food, it isn't about the exercise, it isn't about these routines and the sleep. It is about the mindset, and that's why we're talking about the power of the mind. But really quick example, there was again, a lot of my examples come from the gym, so a lot of my social circle is at the gym, and I was at the gym the other day, and we had done a workout. And during that workout, the girl who was working out next to me, really pretty young girl, I put her at probably mid to late 20s, and she was lifting reasonable weight, she was doing pretty well, she was faster than me, and we're working away, and it was a tough one. I was right on the wire with the clock, just got the workout in, and then I noticed that she was crossing the other side of the gym in tears, in floods of tears. And the coach was with her, and the coach was, giving her the virtual hugs and, petting her and, don't worry about it. And basically, from what I could gather, so I wasn't in on the conversation, but from what I could gather, she had an injury. And she was just coming back after her injury. So, especially for a CrossFitter, an injury is a big thing because you struggle to do a lot of the movements. So she'd just got herself back into into the gym, and on that particular day, that routine hurt whatever she'd injured.
Yep.
Right? So she's just coming back, she's getting back into the gym, getting back to it, and she's got a bit of a setback. And he's saying to her, don't worry, we'll do some more rehab, and we'll fix it, we'll get it better. So, okay, I understand that's a setback, and that's disappointing. But in that situation, you've got to say, well, look, I am fit and healthy, I'm young, I've got an injury, it's fixable, it will get better, I'm playing the long game, so there's no point getting upset about this setback. But then not only that, she went on from there, so a bit later on, at the change area, and she was sitting with a really sad face. And everybody in the change area is normally pretty, chirpy. We've just done our workout, we're all sweaty, putting our scores into the computer, and everybody's, oh, how did you do? And that was a nasty one, wasn't it? And there's a bit of banter. So anybody in there gets caught up in that banter because it's fun. And she was sitting on the bench, really looking for attention, seeking attention. And you could see she was seeking the attention of, oh, are you okay? Oh, what's wrong? What happened? Oh, is it your leg again? Oh no, that's going to put you out. And I think people are, especially women, are conditioned to react like that.
Glad you said that.
I'll say it happily. Women especially are conditioned to act and behave like that because they get that attention. They've been conditioned, from being kids. But that was the perfect example of somebody who, yes, disappointing, yes, even crying in the moment is okay, hurt, pain, upset, but then snap out of it. That was 30 minutes ago, you're not in pain anymore, you don't need a sympathy vote, get on with life, it's a long game, you can move the rest of your body even if your knee's hurting, and get it into your head that you're actually okay, you can still smile, life has not fallen down, life is not, beyond repair.
So I'm going to challenge on this. So it's easy for you. It's not easy for you, but it is easy for you because you've done this and you understand how to snap out of it. So if I'm a deconditioned person who's always failed, and I've done some bullshit self-talk all the time, and I've, told myself I'm going to fail, told myself I don't deserve it, and I've always talked myself into not achieving. How do you just snap out of it? It sounds so easy to snap out of it, but what are some of the practical steps I could go through facing a big change, challenge, class, something, to snap out of it and not talk myself into a negative outcome?
Right, I think there's a couple of things, and it depends whether you're talking yourself out of something or whether something's happened and you're doing a negative self-talk.
Okay.
So the example I gave was somebody who had a problem and then allowed that negativity to continue. So I think there are two situations. So look, I'll give you my opinion on both of them. The first one is become aware of your own self-talk.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
So you're right, if you don't do this, as I do, then it's time to start.
Yeah.
Right? So the first place you start is by recognising it.
Can you recognise it yourself? Do I recognise my own negative self-talk, or do I need someone else to say, you're a miserable, pessimistic, self-talking person?
No, I think you recognise it yourself.
You think that type of person knows they're doing it?
No, maybe not immediately.
Right.
But you say to me, you're a miserable... then I'm just going to put up the defences. I'm not going to listen to you, and I'm probably not going to speak to you again.
Ever.
Because that's,
That would be peaceful.
I'm just going to
Blissful.
think that's a nasty thing to say.
Yes.
But I think that the real learning is in being able to recognise it yourself. Because if you're always reliant on somebody else to tell you, you're not going to achieve.
Yeah, my question was more, can I? So,
Yes,
in
you
your
can.
experience, do you think these
Absolutely.
people, the negative self-talkers, the negative mindsetters, do they know they're being negative?
They don't at the time.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying is anybody who is looking at these sort of changes,
Yes.
looking at the patterns that they've never achieved
Okay.
or they've failed
Yeah.
successively,
They need to step back and have a...
then they need to step
Yep.
back and start questioning themselves and say, well, am I self-sabotaging?
So then how do I go from... So I'm just using the example of going, say, keto, because that's a big thing for a lot of people, and a lot of people we bump into. So I'm normally a negative person who would talk myself out of it's too hard, it's, and all the negative. So then I've stepped back and I've gone, I'm a negative self-talker, and normally I would think on the negative side, and I couldn't do it. So I've recognised that. So how do I then, what's my practical step to no longer do a negative self-talk, but to flip that and do positive self-talk? Is it just do it?
I think the first thing is that it's not. You're not going to say I'm a negative self-talker.
Yeah, true.
Nobody's going to say that.
Well, I do.
But what you're going to do is you're going to say.
Tell 'em.
You tell everyone I'm a negative self-talker.
Yes, you negative prick.
But what you're going to do is you're going to say, you're going to question yourself, and you're going to say, have I? Let me be a bit honest with myself for a while. Let me step back. Let me do it from the outside as though I'm telling myself, have I been negative? And then what you're going to do is you're going to observe yourself. So you're not going to immediately know. You're not going to suddenly go flip. I'm a positive self-talker now.
Yes.
You're just not. If you've done this for 30, 40 years,
Yep.
you're not going to change overnight. It's cute, but you're not. So, the reality is, the first thing you need to do is catch yourself.
Good. Catch yourself being negative and
Catch yourself
call
being
yourself
negative.
out.
So you observe, you start to learn to observe. So the way we change behaviour is we first observe. So I'm going to observe that. I'm not going to try and change it. I'm just going to observe it.
And some would say by observing, the awareness starts to change.
Exactly right. So
Yep.
then I'm going to become conscious
Yep.
of what I'm doing.
Yep.
So first of all, become conscious. So if I catch myself saying something negative, just clock it. Then just start to build the pattern. When is it happening? Is it always in the same situations? Is it all the time? Is it everything? So is it only around how you eat? Or is it everything in life? How big is this negativity,
pattern, yeah.
this
Yep.
pattern? Then once you've recognised when you do it, the next step is to think about, well, what's the flip? What could the positive be? So if, for example, your negative self-talk is, diets are expensive, I can't afford them. So the keto diet, the keto lifestyle is expensive and I can't afford it. That's a perfect example of a negative self-talk. You're in the supermarket and you catch yourself saying, that meat's expensive, I could never afford it.
You immediately slap yourself.
Immediately, you may not slap yourself, but if you wish to, a little tap.
It's just a physical reminder. Tap, tap,
That's
tap,
it,
tap.
tap. You might do the tap. We'll talk about anchoring, but you might. But
Yep.
you're more likely to say, oh, stop,
Yep, good.
stop. And then you're going to think, right, okay, how can I change what I'm saying? And what could be a replacement? So instead of saying, that piece of meat's expensive, could I say something like, that's a beautiful piece of meat, and if I was able to make it last over 3 meals, it would become affordable. Because then what I've done is I've actually thought practically about how I'm going to use the piece of meat, and it's a positive way because I'm now starting to think about a solution, not putting up a barrier.
Yes, which is, true.
So catch yourself doing the negative self-talk. Once you've recognised the pattern of it, think about the sort of things that you can do. So if yours is all around food and eating, what are the things that you can say to yourself? I can do it, I deserve it. You're just looking for the opposite. So if something's expensive, how can you make it affordable?
Yeah.
If something's difficult to cook, how can I find a way to cook it? Who can help me? Are there different methods of cooking? There's a recipe for a barbecue. I don't have a barbecue, so I can't make that meal. How can I convert that particular recipe into an air fryer one? Because I've got a great air fryer. So finding ways to change it around,
Yeah.
so that you're not doing the, yee-haw, I can do this, because that's a very bland, empty statement, but you're taking the very specific situation where you're negative self-talked,
De-emotionalising it.
taking the emotion away, and you're coming up with a replacement that's going to work for you, that's going to enable you, and it's going to allow you to succeed.
And I'd suggest that would, if you get good at that process around something very specific, say we're talking about the keto lifestyle, then it'd be very difficult, or it'd be very easy to apply that same methodology when it comes to a relationship or a challenge at work or something, because all you're doing, you're still taking negative self-talk around a specific situation or challenge, and you're turning it into a practical solution, de-emotionalising it, practical solution, and then going with a more positive mindset.
Exactly.
So once you've done that successfully for one thing, then that process across all other areas of your life,
apply it to everything.
Yeah.
And then the other part that I think that's really, really important when we talk about the power of the mind and, you know, this negative versus positive self-talk is not dwelling when things go wrong. So the girl at the gym that I was talking about, she was dwelling on a situation. So instead of saying, so her situation was, I've got an injury, I can no longer train. Oh, woe is me.
Yep.
Oh, how terrible.
Yep.
It's going to put me out for months. Now what she could have said was, right, I've got a knee injury, that's a bugger. I'm pissed that I can't train as I normally do, but hey, I've always wanted to work on my arm strength, so I'm going to focus my whole program for the next 3 months on my upper body, and I'm going to strengthen and get rid of all those weaknesses, and I'm going to be so awesomely strong in my upper body. When I get back to the gym properly with my leg and my knee, then I'm going to be a better all-round athlete.
perfect.
So that would
Good
be,
spin, good
that's a great way to turn it around. And what we see, going back to the keto diet, what we see is a lot of people, they fall off the wagon, is what they call it. Which in itself, that's a negative talk.
Yes, yeah.
Don't talk about falling off the wagon. You ate the piece of cake. Who gives a shit? Quite frankly, did you enjoy it? Yes?
Loved it.
Awesome. Did you not? Well, too bad. You probably won't next time.
Now move on.
Just move on.
Yep.
I don't want to see people, I hate to see people dwelling on stuff for more than a couple of seconds. Yes, allow yourself to failure. We're not saying you didn't fail. You did. It's okay to fail. You've learned from it. So if you didn't enjoy the piece of cake, you've learned a really powerful lesson that your palate's changed and you actually don't want sweet food anymore. That's fantastic. So yes, you failed, you ate the cake.
Great learning.
Learn from it. So yes, failure. Brilliant. Now learn from your failure. That'll make you stronger. That'll make you more resilient. It'll make you more determined, and it'll make you more likely to succeed. But if you spend the next 3 days saying, oh, woe is me, I failed. I ate the piece of cake, so I might as well have the chips. I might as well have the muffin. Yeah, well, I might as well have the full fat, sugary,
It's all
whatever
over
it
now,
is.
yeah.
It's all over Ed Rover. So, don't do that, because you're just going to spiral down into the hole and get worse and worse. And then you will again validate the fact that nothing works, you don't deserve it, you can't do it, it's all too
It's a
hard.
fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Whereas if you went, failed, bugger, idiot, didn't enjoy it anyway, won't do it next time, what can I do to avoid it happening next time? Right, well, then come up with a strategy. If I'm offered a piece of wedding cake next time and I don't want to be rude and turn it down, what's my strategy? What can I say to be polite but turn it down? I'm out with my friends, they're all having muffins, they want me to have a muffin. What can I say, so that I don't offend them and upset them, but I also don't have to compromise? So work out what you can do in the situation, and then next time it comes up, you have that straight off pat and you move on. So again, that allows you to be positive, it allows you to have that success mindset. So I think that people don't do enough of this. They don't think enough about being positive. They allow those negative mind patterns, mindsets to derail them. And I think there's a lot that people can do, and this is not hard. It's actually quite easy. And once you get into the pattern, you start recognising your self-sabotage, you can make a big difference.
And I think a lot of people aren't aware of the importance of the psychological side of, if it's keto or wellness, whatever it might be. They all think about the practical side of what do I eat, what exercise do I do. They're thinking about those practical things. With equal importance, we need to focus on, I must get my head in the game. I must sort out my mind and make sure I'm positively aligned. Not just that my fridge is stocked and I've got my exercise lined up and I've got all the other things sorted out, but my mind is in the right place for whatever the challenge is going to be ahead.
Exactly right.
Excellent.
Power of the mind.
Power of the mind, love it.
Amazing.